This is Knox Street Studios Tech Bridge, where we together increase our technical know-how and productivity. Today, what we're going to do is talk about great on-screen actresses and Python lists. Let's get started. Tech Bridge 02PY. All right. Yeah. All right. Okay. So this is 2. This is the Tech Bridge 2. What I've just created was just an empty list. Now, but you know what? I don't like that name. So I'm going to go back and switch that name to some of the greats. Some of the greats. All right. Not all, just some. All right. That's good enough for now. That's good enough for now. And let's put the, so there's one, so how, depending on how long the list is, depending on how you want to do this format. My list is going to be kind of long. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tab over and so because, and actually my list isn't that long, but I'm going to do it this way for readability. Okay. All right. So now in order to create the list, it's very similar. And in fact, we've already gone over this. It's very similar to doing strings. You got to put quotations around them, and you got to put a comma between them. All right, so let me quickly try to format this data. And you can see on the list that we have Holly, Carrie, Viola, Cicely, Gabriel. Oh, look at there. I have Cicely Tyson twice, but that's fine. I will use that. Okay. All right. So now my list is now created. So the first thing we got to do is we got to, let's go to the terminal, look at the list. So to do that, print sum of, and notice with Adam, it is just giving me a prompt. So I'm not even going to finish typing it out. I'm just going to take the prompt. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to okay, so I'm at the terminal and all I'm doing is just printing out the list that I just created. And so to do that, we've got to type in Python 3 Tech Bridge 2PY. And what you should see is the list. And notice that it's in the brackets that I use and it has the list. All right, so we got the list in. The next thing that I want to cover is I want to pull specific, remember how with strings, each element had a position. And so in this particular list, the first position is 0. And so if I want to print that index, that's the next thing we're going to do. I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so in order to print that index, all we do is we type print sum of the greats. It'd be nice if I could spell. And then what we're going to do is put 0. Let's print more than 1. In fact, let's print them all on the same line. So for x in sum of the greats, print x. So what that should do is it should take you through the list. And so what it's going to do is it's going to loop through the list, and it's going to pick each of the elements. And then let's do one other thing. Let's do what I originally said I was going to do, and we're going to print sum of the greats, and we're going to print just that first element, right? And let's do that one more time. Let's do one other thing, and let's print the last element. Okay? So here's what we got. First, we just print the list that we have. Then we print the first element, starts at 0, remember. And then we print the last element, which will be Angela Bassett. And then what we're going to do is print each of the individual elements, Viola Davis, Kerry Washington, on its individual line using a loop that's going to iterate through the whole list. Let's save it. Let's go over to the terminal and see if I got this right. All right, we're over at the terminal. Oh, and please note, I didn't get it right. Let's slide over here. I did parentheses, not brackets. And in order to print the individuals, I needed to do the brackets, so I fixed it. And when I did, and notice it said the type error was type error list object is not callable. Now I could have looked that up, but because I've been writing in other languages, sometimes I forget what the syntax is. And so I didn't even have to look it up, actually. Surprise, surprise. I just said, oh, that's probably what it is. Did it, fixed it, and then it gave me the list. So the first thing it gave me was the list kind of in raw form. Then it gave me the first element. It gave me the last element. Notice I put those asterisks in just to separate it. And then it gives me the list, sort of like my grocery list. All right, so we've gone through the list. The last thing I want to do is I want to append the list and I want to remove from the list. So let's go over. So I'm going to add a name and I'm going to take away a name from the list. So let me show you how to do that, and then we're done. Okay, so the last thing, so if you look at the original list, there's a typo, I guess you'd say. Cicely Tyson shows up twice. She shows up at the index of 4, and she shows up at the index of 6. All right, so what I want to do is I want to take out that one, and I want to add one more. So, and in particular, the reason why I'm doing this is to just show you some of the things that we can do, again, with Python lists. All right, so certainly I could just come right in here and type it, and that would add it. And I could certainly come in and just delete it. But the whole point is that there's sometimes that you need to manipulate a list. In particular, so there are small lists like this, 10, 12 elements. There are huge lists that have thousands of records, and you can't very well go and look for those. But if you have a sense about the reference, then you can still perform these types of procedures. All right, so before we print the list finally, I am going to make those two things. Since we've talked about comments, I will add a comment, add to list, and remove. Okay? All right, so I've added that comment. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say sum of the greats. And I'm going to say append. So I'll do the append first. And then Nia Long. Okay. And so when you append, it's going to go to the end of the list. There is a procedure or methods that allow you to insert, but we won't do that in this one. And then the other thing we want to do is we want to remove. And so sum of the greats, and I'm going to pop, and then I'm going to pop it based on position. And I think I said it was 4, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Okay. All right. So what's going to happen, what we should see, is we're going to see the raw list printed. We're going to see the first element. We're going to see the last element, Angela, at that moment. We're going to add another element, and then we're going to pop out the element at the 4th position. And then what we're going to do is print it again using our for loop. All right, let's see if I got this right. All right, so I will type it over again. Python 3 Tech Bridge 02 PY. And my thinking is that this is sort of the first. This is like the second mini project that we worked on, and I hit enter, and this is what it gives us. It gives us first the raw list. It gives us the first element, the second element. I'm sorry, the first element and the last element. It then gives us the updated list. You see Cicely Tyson is no longer there. And you see at the end, Nia Long has been added to the list. Quick recap, what we've done is just what we've laid out. We've created a list in Python. We've added elements to it. We've appended the list, as well as we've removed elements from the list. Now, this list is fairly simple, but we could add their place of birth. We could add their age. We could add their list of movies behind them. Now, all of a sudden, you have something that is worth manipulating. And in fact, if you look at IMDb or you look at Netflix, this little thing that we've just created is the basis for these large and powerful apps. We're taking our first step. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next time.